vintage radio collectors and restorers. This is one of my favorite radios. I've done quite a few of these over the years. I live in the area where these were built, Kitchener, Ontario. Quite a few of them around. Electrohome Roland series, so made under contract and sold in Canada by the Electrohome, Dominion Electrohome. But the design and look of it is Roland radio out of New York. And these just have a cool look. They're kind of getting near the end of the tube era. Some other stuff, so we're talking, early to mid 50s, was going printed circuit board. This is an actual metal chassis, steel chassis. And this one was filthy. It's funny, some of the filthiest radios clean up the best. I guess all the grunge and oil and stuff, maybe it preserves the radio, I don't know. The only negative thing I can see on this, there are a few scratches on this here, the escutcheon. And I'm working with a guy that does 3D printing, and he's looking to see if he can buy clear filament and gold filament and actually scan and make one of these. That would be really interesting. One thing that's neat about these, they have the glow-in-the-dark hands. And here's my little Russian Army surplus 1980s Geiger counter. Got this from a surplus store like 30 years ago. That dial's a bit hot. But it's not, the red indicator, the unsafe indicator is not going off. And as you pull away, it's normal background radiation. Some people worry about these, that they're toxic or that they're being radiated. Believe me, compared to what we're being hit with from other things, like high-powered routers, which are microwaves, but this is nothing to worry about. And it eventually does fade out. Let's talk about the restoration for a minute. So I cleaned everything up, put a polarized cord on it, switched the neutral and hot, so the safety capacitors between chassis and the B-, which is then the neutral, that's the best way to do it. Then you can't get a shock from this, because there are metal screws that protrude through the bottom of the case. Potentially, if the old wax cap had shorted out and the cord was put in the right way, you'd have 120 volts on the chassis and on those screws. This way that can't happen. It makes it safe. The other thing, of course, is the IF cans. They'll have silver mica disease almost guaranteed at this point. So I'm going to rebuild those. I did a video on that several months back, how to fix silver mica. And there's quite a few videos that are better than mine out there. The other thing, of course, is I'm going to be getting rid of these wax caps. Here's the old firecracker cap. So this is 3-in-1. It was right in here. So now I have a terminal strip. And I'm going to use separates, brand new caps. I never use new old stock. It would be ridiculous. This dropping resistor from the AC line, they're 33 to 50 ohms roughly. I put in a 47 because line voltage is higher now. The other one is cracking. It was a 33, but it was testing around 70 ohms, so it was ready to let go. Basically, any of the power resistors I'll be getting rid of. This one here, which drops the B- or B+. So this one, once it's recapped, bad resistors, IF cans, sounds like a lot of work, it should work pretty nicely. And I kind of like these. I like the sound of the telecron movement, just sort of a silent, small little synchronous motor turning in there. Because it has two speakers, it has very good tone for a plastic radio. Hopefully the speaker's okay. Sometimes they're bad. They're just like a 4-inch and a 4-inch. We'll see how this one turns out. This, I find, is one of the few radios that people are still interested in. And I can say, I should do another video on this. In the last year or two especially, vintage radio, antique radio stuff, it's almost like the stuff pre-war. I see it at flea markets, I see it for sale, collectors trying to downsize. They can't get rid of it. It's really something. Very hard to get rid of console radios from the 30s and 40s. But then you get into the colored plastic stuff later on. It's still desirable. And of course, the Addison Courthouse, which I've covered. Anyway, thanks for watching and listening.